Welcome back to Headlines Now. Something that will break your heart if you are a dog lover. Tonight, more than 7 stray dogs have reportedly been shot dead. Yes, shot by a private company in Oragadam's industrial area. The Blue Cross, that received information about this incident early this morning, rushed to the spot and has decided to lodge an FIR with the local police. But this is not the first time that such an incident is taking place in Chennai. Earlier this year, in February too, a veil of gloom took over Perubankam area, where over 60 street dogs were ruthlessly injected with poison and buried in the grave in that particular area.
We are further taking it up also after the post-mortem report with the Chief Inspector of Factories questioning how can they use firearms in an industrial area, which is a safety violation itself. So under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, we are lodged a complaint, and we will take it up, and we will demand that the perpetrators be brought to justice.
Well, to answer the many questions that perhaps might be going on across in your mind tonight, I have Mr. Chinni Krishna, the Vice Chairman with the Animal Welfare Board of India, joining me on the show tonight. Thanks very much. Welcome to our studios. First up, as ironic as it may be, do you believe that perhaps it's the law by itself that has no teeth in this case?
Absolutely. The Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act provides for a very minimal fine, and the other problem really is that even the existing laws are not being enforced by the people who have to enforce them. The Animal Welfare Board is only a facilitating body for the Government of India, and the Blue Cross of India hasn't got the prosecution powers. We have to do it through the local police. It's very, very unfortunate that the police don't give enough importance to this.
All right. But like we said, this was not the first time that something like this has happened. Most of the time, I guess, what goes on across in the minds of those who shoot these animals or even inject poison, like in the previous case, is because they are a nuisance. Now, is that their own fault that they are drawing these dogs to a particular area? Who's to blame, really?
Well, part of it is that unless there is food, the dogs won't be there, which means that somebody in the factory has been feeding them. But the other thing is, you mentioned also about the earlier incident where 60 dogs had been injected to death.
Yes.
This took place in St. John's International School. Now, a place of learning. Okay, how could they do something like this? But most important is the fact that in both the cases, the dogs there were very, very friendly animals. I mean, they were actually caught in St. John's and injected. Here they were at least shot, so they may not have come in very close range. The fact is that these dogs are very, very non-aggressive, like most street dogs are.
All right, but as much as you are the dog lover, not everybody shares the similar sentiments, like maybe me, for instance. I would, love dogs, but there is a sense of fear, and perhaps at most areas, that fear is still there. Is that because of an awareness factor that's really lacking, or is it because there's that notion that street dogs equals to maybe rabies?
You see, the fact is that in Chennai corporation limits, the older corporation limits in any case, there has been no deaths from rabies since 2007. The rabies was eliminated only because of a very scientific animal birth control program, where the dog is caught, vaccinated, sterilized, and released back in the same area from which it's picked up. This is the only way in which the dog population can be controlled and rabies can be eliminated.
All right. In this particular case, is your group trying to do something, press forward, maybe for a compromise of sorts? I mean, the lives of these dogs have already been lost, but is there anything that your organization is planning to do? This is a mainstream company, we hear, that has done this. So,
no, as far as the Animal Welfare Board is concerned, we have decided that we would pull out all stops and make an example of this. I mean, we have given as much notice and as much information and awareness raising in those areas. Everybody is aware of the rules today, and these are not uneducated idiots who are doing it. These are company directors who are given the instructions to shoot the dogs. I think it's totally unacceptable. All
right. You've been working for this cause for a very long time. has it changed? If you can just compare maybe to 50 years back, has it changed awareness-wise? Are things better now? Is the road ahead looking better, much better?
Tremendous change. Actually, the Blue Cross started as a very loose group in 1959. It was registered in 64, and I've been connected with the Blue Cross since 59. It was a very much harder situation in those days than it is today. Today there is very much more awareness, and most people are also aware that the ABC program is something that works. It's a program that's been given a lot of publicity. It's supported by WHO, it's supported by the FAO. Everybody knows that this is the only viable method to control the dog situation, but more important, it is the only legal recourse available. You're not supposed to kill a dog anyway.
So, just before we conclude this discussion, while there are enough measures perhaps now, today, compared to the previous years, what still makes your blood boil? Be it maybe the awareness factor among citizens of Chennai, in a metropolitan city as we call it?
No, what makes my blood boil really is that if you take a walk down the street, you'll find the poor people. These are not stray dogs. These are street dogs. They belong on the street. These are community dogs being looked after by somebody in the community. And for us, it's not a question of animals or people. It's a question of animals and people. We can both coexist. And there's absolutely no problem.
So what's your message to a viewer who might still have apprehensions about whether, that stray dog should be, moved away from their area? What should we do? A lot of questions. So your message to someone who's watching back in their home tonight with maybe a plate of dinner, what should it be?
Well, the basic rule is that nature abhors a vacuum. If I remove the dogs from any one area, a new bunch of dogs will move in to fill that vacuum. You are never going to get rid of dogs by removing them. The only way to do it is by a mass sterilization program so that the dogs don't multiply and keep.
Do you believe enough is being done by the Chennai Corporation when it comes to sterilization measures?
Well, the Chennai Corporation was the first in India to start this in 1996. Abul Hassan was the mayor when he gave the instructions to stop the killing. At that time, they were killing 135 dogs per day in the Chennai Corporation limits alone.
Right.
Today, since then, they've killed absolutely not a single dog. Yet the number of dogs on the street have gone down tremendously. And before anybody jumps up and says no, I can just tell you 3 examples. Number one, you never find a bunch of hungry, emaciated dogs outside every dustbin like you used to see even 10 years ago. You don't find a pair of mating dogs on the street, and you never find a mother dog and puppies walking about the streets of Chennai.
All right, so sterilization perhaps in a much aggressive manner so that we don't see such incidents in the future. But I think the ABC of it all is maybe some love as well, right? Some puppy love from humans like us towards these creatures. Absolutely. Thanks very much indeed, Mr. Jenny Krishna, for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Moving on to some more news. The Chennai City Police have busted a prostitution racket that has till date been functioning under the guise of an Ayurvedic massage parlour. Today, the anti-vice squad arrested 2 persons from the parlour in Adyar and have launched a hunt for the owner as well. Meanwhile, 3 girls hailing from Andhra Pradesh and Manipur who were forced into prostitution were rescued and sent to a government home in Mylapore area. The woman who is running the parlour and even advertised about the centre in news dailies is absconding. In the modus operandi, she offered customers who contacted her the services by these young women at a rate of 5,000 rupees. It was when a decoy from the police department caught them red-handed that the arrests and the rescue was on. The young men who were arrested today, in fact, were produced at the Saidapet court and now lodged at the Pural prison. Moving on, the MDMK's internet wing today began a relay fast protesting against the centre and state's response to the plea for commuting the death sentence of the 3 Rajiv Gandhi case convicts, Murugan, Santhan and Perarivalan. The plea that had come up for hearing yesterday in the Madras High Court was adjourned by 4 weeks. The centre had responded by saying that requests by prominent personalities and political parties to the President of India were not valid grounds for the death sentence to be commuted. They had reiterated that Murugan and Santhan were hardcore LTTE militants who infiltrated India for the sole purpose of assassinating Rajiv Gandhi, and this mercy would be set as a bad precedent. In some national news, the anti-corruption group which forced the government to rethink the Lokpal bill may be having some problems of their own, but they are not changing their core group. while various members of Team Anna like Medha Patkar and Kumar Vishwas have suggested that the core group around Anna Hazare needs to expand so that individuals aren't targeted, the team members in a meeting today decided that it wasn't necessary.
कोर कमेटी के हर सदस्य ने, वॉलंटियर्स ने देश के करोड़ों लोगों के साथ मिलकर आंदोलन में अहम भूमिका निभाई है। अतः कोर कमेटी को भंग करने का सवाल ही पैदा नहीं होता है। सरकार जन लोकपाल के मुद्दे से देश का ध्यान भटकाने के लिए और आंदोलन की छवि खराब करने की मंशा से सरकारी मशीनरी का दुरुपयोग करके कोर कमेटी के सदस्यों पर हमले कर रही है। सरकार द्वारा कोर कमेटी पर किए जा रहे हमलों का हम मजबूती के साथ जवाब देंगे और देश का ध्यान लोकपाल के मुद्दे से हम भटकने नहीं देंगे।
After much speculation, India's leading passenger car maker Maruti Suzuki is all set to open shop in Gujarat. The board of directors today approved purchasing land in Mehsana, Gujarat for further expansion of manufacturing facilities. The company, which had to deal with striking workers at its Manesar plant, sparking rumours that they may move to Gujarat, also announced its second quarter results. The company's net profit fell by almost 60% due to the production loss at its Manesar plant and other reasons like increase in fuel and rising interest rates as well. Now, taking off from that note, Narendra Modi tweeted that it's Gujarat's New Year and this is Maruti's gift to Gujarat on this occasion. In some international news now, flood waters are pushing closer towards the heart of the Thai capital, Bangkok. Water levels in Bangkok's Chao Phraya River has hit a new high, that's 2.47 meters above sea level. Officials say high tides due to today, in fact, could cause wider flooding in the capital. Residents of Bangkok are leaving the city in hordes after the authorities urged them to evacuate. Large areas of Thailand have been affected by flooding caused by heavy rain since July. Over 370 people have died. Up ahead on headlines now, he may be the sports minister of the country, but looks like the F1 has played spoil sport for Mr. Markin this GP fever season.